Hello friends, so here we are. MonsterArts has revealed their new Skar King figure from Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. So here he is, in all of his skinny orangutan chimpanzee? Yeah, he's a chimpanzee. All of his glory. Here he is, here's the prototype. And so, yeah, let's just go through some of these images. So here he is in kind of his neutral face pose. Now, these eyes here, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like one of the first glimpses we ever got of Skar King was of his eyes, and I don't think he ever had black pupils, so that's an interesting choice there for the eyes. Here we've got the whip. It's been confirmed that the whip is a bendy wire. It is significantly shorter than it actually is in the movie, but I guess for the purposes of an action figure, like it's serviceable. In terms of articulation, he's got the mid-foot hinge or possibly ball joint. He's got some cuts up the leg, pretty standard stuff. His torso articulation looks very comparable to Kong, and it looks like he's got butterfly joints, potentially, whereas the MonsterArts Kong did not have butterfly joints, or maybe those are just floating pieces. Double jointed arms, ball joint at the wrist, it looks like. Moving ahead, he's got an angry face as well, and I've seen some of the reception that the angry face doesn't look that great, and I actually do agree with that. I think that the angle is probably not doing this head sculpt any favors. But he's got he's got fists here where he's got more grasping and neutral, open-handed there. So it looks like there will be at least one set of alternate hands as well as one alternate head. Here we've got him, dynamic pose, bendy wire in action. The actual whip looks really, really good here. I hope that the final product looks as good. And then you've got the translucent crystal at the very end, which looks really nice as well. Again, this roaring head, maybe not the best angle. I think it looks a little bit better here than it does here. Here it just looks kind of smushed, whereas here it looks a little bit better. Not perfect, but a little bit better. So again, sort of more of what we're seeing, just different dynamic poses. Here's his iconic guitar pose from the movie. I'm glad that they included that in the marketing material here, the marketing push. So that's great. This is one of the scenes that you can tell the whip is a lot shorter than the one that we see on screen, because if you look at this scene in the film, there's quite a bit more whip sort of dangling around. Again, it doesn't... for the purposes of the figure, I'm sure it's fine. Maybe there will be customizers, or maybe there'll be some reissue down the road where they have a longer whip, but I think it'll be enough to get you where you need to go. But here is where things get a little bit more interesting. So Skar King also comes with the alternate beast gauntlet arm for the 2024 Kong from MonsterArts. So I guess it's basically confirmed at this point that there will not be a standalone release for Beast Gauntlet Kong unless there's some kind of exclusive down the road like there was for the GVK version. But if you pick up Skar King, you will get the pieces for this figure if you have it as well. And my impression was that there are at least two sets. There are at least 3 different hands that the gauntlet comes with. So there's this closed fist. He's got a fist here where he seems to be dual wielding or dual handling the axe. But I thought that there was one more. It might be this one. So it's at least 2 hands, but there might be a third one. I can't. It's hard to tell with this angle. But this has been a point of discussion. This is something that has been seen in SH Figuarts. You'll see pieces for a figure you already have being included in a subsequent release. And I think that people understandably have mixed feelings about this. And I think that this could either improve the value of the package for you, or it can take away the value of the package. So for me personally, the idea that I'm paying, 12,000 yen, so that's like the yen to the Canadian ratio is actually, you can kind of move the decimal points, about 120 Canadian dollars. For 120 Canadian bucks, I'm getting a Skar King figure and I'm getting an alternate arm for Kong. And in effect, it gives me the ability to have a Beast Gauntlet Kong on my shelf. And so $121 for me to have 2 figures is not that bad of a deal, to be honest. But that's not how everyone is going to see it. You know, some folks only want Skar King, and the Beast Gauntlet Kong doesn't really do anything for them. Some people will want Skar King and Beast Gauntlet Kong, but maybe they don't already have Kong. And so to get a complete Beast Gauntlet Kong, they now have to go make a subsequent purchase when the price tag for this is already pretty sizable for being a Bandai Premium release. So I can see how this price for some folks is really, really decent. And then for other folks is just almost out of the question by comparison. Now, I wanted to take a look at some of the comments because I put up a post yesterday with the announcement of Skar King, and the reactions were pretty varied across the board. So this person saying, like, I should have gotten this one. I got all the other Skar Kings. Oh, will this be my first SHMA figure? SHMA Redemption Arc. Skar King looks kind of all right. There's something very off about Skar King. Huge ass glow up, so, you know, very, very impressed. I'm not thrilled about it. Head looks off. There's no evil smile. Yeah, there's no evil smiling face. That's unfortunate. There definitely could have been more expressive faces. Skar King face sculpt. Yikes. Haya, we can't keep defending you. Don't like the head sculpt. So it's really interesting to see the different reactions across the board. And I do wonder if the price has something to do with that. Like, if this does have sort of that 2 figures in one release value because of that gauntlet, then maybe you're just more forgiving of some of these features. Or whereas if you only want Skar King and you're unhappy about the price, maybe some of the decisions here are harder to defend. I can definitely see that as well. Also, news coming out yesterday was that Shimo seems to be on the way, which is very exciting. I'm so scared to see what the price tag looks like. It's really funny. I posted these at the same time. Shimo got almost 3 times the amount of likes than Skar King did. But I'm very curious to see more about Shimo. I don't think that this image is really enough to indicate the quality of the release or the accuracy. And Skar King, the wording around Skar King makes it seem like he might not use the final movie CGI files, but this has gotten so close to the point where I don't know if it's a question of whether or not the figure is accurate to the movie. I think the question is, do you like the appearance of the figure? And if in either direction is totally fine, right? Like, if you don't like it, then, you know, more power to you. If you like it, you're excited to pick it up, then I'm happy for you. I do intend to grab this guy. I do intend to pick him up. I'm pretty hyped to get an alternate arm for my GVK Kong, because I don't have the newer version. I don't really feel the need to pick it up. I think the colors will match just fine. So released December 2024. The pre-orders open on Friday. So this is tomorrow, Japan time, 4 p.m. local time. So here in the Eastern time zone, I can't remember. It'll either be 3 a.m. here or 4 a.m. here. Or maybe even 5 a.m. here. It's pretty close to 12 hours. But 12,100 yen. Pretty penny. Web exclusive. We all knew it was going to be a web exclusive when we saw Godzilla Evolved. So if I were to summarize my thoughts in one go, I think that he looks cool. I think he is closer to being on-screen accurate than their Kong figure ever was. I think that the revelation that this is coming with a Beast Gauntlet arm for Kong is squashing the hopes that some folks would have a screen-accurate Kong using the CGI files come down the line, which they may still do, they may not, but this certainly seems like it's not going in that direction. And so for those that were hoping they would get that, I think that is understandably disappointing. The face sculpts, I'm interested to see different angles. I think when we get them in person, they will either look much better than this or much worse. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh, it looks exactly like the photo. I think it's either going to look much better or much worse. I wish the whip was maybe a little bit longer to represent what it looked like on screen, but I think it's serviceable for the point of an action figure. And I just hope that he's able to stand okay, because these mid-foot ankle joints make me really nervous. My Kong that I have is already kind of a nightmare to balance, and this looks like it will be even a little bit more difficult. But if you have the whip in this position, maybe it's acts as a little bit of a brace. So yeah, I'm very interested to see this. I'm very interested to see Shimo. And I'm also very curious to see what Haya's response to this is. I say that as though Haya is directly trying to counter MonsterArts. It's not that I'm looking for a response. I'm just looking forward to seeing what Haya unveils next. It's interesting that they came out with Godzilla and Shimo first, and then Tamashii did Godzilla and Skar King and Beast Gauntlet Kong before Haya got to theirs. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you going to pick this guy up? Or are you going to wait to see reviews? Are you going to skip it? Skip now. What is it? Buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. You tell me down below. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, guys. Take care.